Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Manchester United could end up signing Jadon Sancho in the summer. Now according to France Football via Sport Witness, Borussia Dortmund are looking for replacements for Jadon Sancho. We could get him for less than £100 million. Not so long ago, Jadon Sancho made an admission saying that it has been a difficult season for him at Borussia Dortmund, but he is happy to be back among the goals. Now the Borussia Dortmund CEO explained why Sancho's been struggling at Dortmund this season, because he was expected to join Man United last summer. Now don't forget, last summer he was our number one priority target. Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. We was not willing to meet their valuation, but it did say a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed. And I think Sancho said a few times last summer that, he wanted to leave Borussia Dortmund to come to Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano, who's very reliable, he's spoken about the Sancho saga quite a few times, and Bill's Christian Farke has also spoken about it a few times. Liverpool have recently been back in for him, and Chelsea are interested in him. This is Sancho's fourth season with Borussia Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he has been very, very consistent. He's under contract with Dortmund until 2023. Don't forget, Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. He did enjoy a couple of years at Man City, but the main explanation he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. And he's predominantly a right winger. Dortmund made it clear to us during the summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player, but we obviously missed out on that deadline. Don't forget, Dortmund sacked Lucien Favre earlier on in the season. But I think if Sancho came to the Premier League, he would exceed expectations. So that's the breaking news on him. Now I want to delve into some news on Paul Pogba. So Paul Pogba is allowed to leave Manchester United in the summer. We have revealed our asking price for him. We want £75 million. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. There has been reports saying that he could join PSG in the summer, because Mini Oriola, Pogba's agent, has been in negotiations with PSG. Apparently Mauricio Pochettino has identified Paul Pogba as his top target. That's what it said not so long ago. He's been relentlessly linked with a return to Juventus. Swap deals have been high on the agenda. It did say that Juventus had offered us Aaron Ramsey as part of a swap deal for Pogba. It also said they offered us Douglas Costa as part of a swap deal for Pogba, but we rejected it. But he said that we are interested in an exchange deal. But he did say that Juventus are only willing to pay £50 million for him in this January transfer window. But I said he won't leave in this January transfer window. If he leaves, it will be this summer. Paul Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus. He's also been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid, and Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. To Paul Pogba's credit, he has done well since he came back from that ankle injury. He did have an ankle injury earlier on in the season. He was recently injured as well, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Earlier on in the season, we triggered that 1 year extension on his contract, so he's under contract on Man United until June 2022. He is our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. Like I updated you recently, Paul Pogba gave an interview ahead of our game against Liverpool. And he said that we're not on Liverpool's level as yet, but he says that Man United can win the Premier League title. And Paul Pogba was also negotiating about, what is hated at Manchester United. And I think, he was frustrated for being on the bench. Mini Oriola, don't forget, told 2 Sport last month that Paul Pogba's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. But I think this is Paul Pogba's 5th season at the club since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at Manchester United so far. That was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. He's made over 100 appearances for the club in all competitions. Don't forget, we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. So that is the breaking news on him. Now, obviously, yesterday I give you the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. ESPN said that Man United will rival Chelsea for Declan Rice. Declan Rice is Frank Lampard's #1 transfer target. Frank Lampard was frustrated when he missed out on Declan Rice, was it last year? I think West Ham did value him though at around £80 million. Chelsea spent over £200 million last year on players. We've been in for Declan Rice before. He's predominantly a holding midfielder, but you can also put him as a centre-half. He is only the age of 22. He's been at West Ham now for several years. He's got a contract with them until 2024. There's also an option to extend it for a further 12 months. Yeah, but before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for a long time. You already know the news on Sergio Ramos. I gave you the news on him a few days ago. Reportedly, Man United are willing to offer him a 2-year contract, and we're thinking about getting him on a free in the summer when his contract expires with Real Madrid. You already know the news on Dayot Upamecano. I'm very, very sceptical that he'll come to Manchester United. You already know the news on Erling Haaland. I think we are looking to make around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. Solskjaer recently revealed our January transfer plans, and he said January signings are unlikely, but he is hoping that a deal or 2 can be done. It's not long now until the January transfer window shuts. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. By the way, Ed Woodward has told Solskjaer that the club needs to be careful with their spending in the summer. But Woodward has obviously promised that he will back Solskjaer. He did say towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Obviously, quite a few players are going to leave Manchester United this year, so we're also going to focus on the outgoings as well as the incomings. He said a few weeks ago that Solskjaer held talks with 6 players he wants to get rid of. Now, Timothy Fosu-Mensah recently left the club to join Bayer Leverkusen. We made the right decision by getting rid of him. Don't forget, Solskjaer has confirmed that Sergio Romero and Marcus Rojo are free to leave in this January transfer window because he said their contracts won't be extended. Will Jones leave in this January transfer window? You know the news on Jesse Lingard. Reportedly, Solskjaer's made a decision on Jesse Lingard's future and reportedly wants Jesse Lingard to stay this month. Sky Sports recently said that Jesse Lingard's representatives were in initial discussions with Nice over a loan move. West Ham were also in talks with Jesse Lingard's agent not so long ago. He did say towards the end of last year that Real Sociedad were in negotiations with his agent. Villa, Celtic and Rangers have been in for him, and so too have Sheffield United, but I don't think Lingard wants to go to Sheffield United. I think he's now into the final 6 months of his contract. Lingard has been part of the club for several years, but obviously lost his place in the team. I think Odion Ighalo will leave. Odion Ighalo's loan at the football club expires at the end of this month. There's obviously been rumours of Daniel James going out on loan, and there's been rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan because Brandon Williams is our third choice left back. Now, like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Man United manager at the end of this season. I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. He's made very, very good progress as Solskjaer over the past year or so. We are top of the Premier League table by 3 points. We could be 6 points clear if we beat Liverpool tomorrow. That'll put us in a very, very good position. Solskjaer is the first Man United manager to get us top of the table at this stage of the season since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Solskjaer's obviously been playing mind games because he did actually say prior to the Burnley game that he warned us to stay humble and not think we've cracked it if we go top. He said after our 1-0 win against Wolves earlier on in the season that we're not in the title races yet. But he said if we are still up there in March, he'll start to believe that we are in the title race. I don't think tomorrow's game, though, is going to determine who's going to win the league because, from my perception, I still think it's too early to say. If we don't win the league this season, we'll certainly win another Premier League title at some point. If we do, it'll be our first Premier League title since 2013 and it will be our 21st title overall. There's 3 trophies that we can pursue this season. We can win the Premier League, we can win the FA Cup and we can also win the Europa League. It's very imperative that we get our first trophy on the board under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. We haven't won a trophy now, is it, for just over 4 years. Do you think if we finished 3rd or 2nd this season and won a trophy, do you think it'd represent a good season for Man United? I think it would because it would give us something to build on. But like I've said, it would be remarkable if we did win the Premier League. And like I said on my video that I did yesterday, Man United do deserve a lot of credit for sticking with Solskjaer. Because, he could have easily have been sacked as Manchester United manager because he has been under pressure quite a few times since he got appointed in. You can say Solskjaer was lucky not to be sacked after us getting knocked out of the Champions League. You can say he was lucky not to be sacked after our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. You can say he was lucky not to be sacked at the first part of last season. But like I've said to you, our board have a soft stance on Solskjaer. The main explanation is because he is a club legend. Now, disregarding him being a club legend, the board would be a lot more ruthless on him. But, back in early December, Solskjaer was the favourite to be sacked. We all hope he succeeds as Manchester United manager. Now, reflecting how long he has been at the club, you can say he has learnt quite a bit. There's still things on the job that he's got to learn, obviously. He's gained some managerial experience. Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager for over 2 years. And this is his second full season at the football club. He's managed over 100 games as Man United manager in all competitions. And he's got a contract with the football club until 2022. We appointed him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. We give him the job permanently, reflects on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Man United is the third club in his managerial career, Solskjaer's, don't forget, because before he was at us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club, and before Molde he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. We have been very, very good away from home in the league. We haven't lost away from home in the league for almost a year. We are unbeaten in our last 11 Premier League games as well. Solskjaer got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Obviously, we lost it to Manchester City 2-0. I was disappointed that we lost that game, but like I said, Manchester City are a very good team, especially in the EFL Cup, because they have won it for the last 3 seasons. And they've reached their 4th consecutive League Cup final, and it was our 4th semi-final defeat in a row under Solskjaer, because we lost 3 semi-finals last season. Despite our reluctance to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with transfers, I still think he has made good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. Obviously, in the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January last year, he bought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagala in on loan. And in the summer transfer window last year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. And he has spent over £200 million at the club. We've also seen a lot of players leave Man United since Solskjaer got recommended in. We have obviously seen players like Lukaku leave, seen Herrera leave. Maybe you can say they are 2 players we should have kept. We also seen Darmian leave. Made the right decision getting rid of him. We saw Smalling leave. We saw Young leave. Saw Valencia leave. Saw Angel Gomez leave. Saw Sanchez leave. Tim Fosu-Mensah's now left, like I've mentioned. We've also loaned a few players out as well. Don't forget Diego Dalot is out on loan at AC Milan. We apparently want to get rid of him on a permanent transfer. Andres Pereira, he's out on loan with Lazio. We want to get rid of him on a permanent transfer. You've got James Garner out on loan with Watford. You've got Dylan Levitt out on loan, with Charlton. Well, sorry, was out on loan with Charlton, but I think his loan's now been terminated. I think we'll loan Joe Pereira out again for another season. And I think Solskjaer's decision-making in some of his games has been very, very good, but in a lot of his games at Man United, he has been tactically naive, and reflecting on that, that's, cost us games. But yeah, you can say Solskjaer has done well to say he's not a top-level manager. Can he emulate into a top-level manager? Putting the stats into circulation now, you can say he's the best manager since Ferguson. Certainly a much better manager than David Moyes was. We've come from behind in a lot of games this season, especially away from home. And, we used to do that a lot under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So you can say Solskjaer's been in the old Man United back. And, like I said, when Solskjaer got appointed in, he was inheriting a lot of deadwood. He's still inheriting some of the deadwood now. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. There's only a few players here now from Louis van Gaal. There's only one player here from the Moyes era, and I think there's only, 2 players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've spent over £1 billion since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And we've brought around 37 players in all the managerial eras since Ferguson left. Obviously, under the Moyes era, we brought Marion Fellaini and Juan Mata in. Under Louis van Gaal era, we brought a lot of players. He must have brought a good 14, 15 players in. Brought likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Rojo, Darmian, Martial, Shaw, Romero, Valdez, Herrera. They are a lot of the players we brought in under Louis van Gaal, and Mourinho, he recommended 11 players into the football club. We're not known as a sacking football club, even though we have sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season at Man United. I've already given you the reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho. So there you go. But big game tomorrow against Liverpool at Anfield. It is of a top of the table clash. Man United and Liverpool are the 2 most successful clubs in England. Liverpool obviously will be the favourites going into this game because Anfield is a fortress in the Premier League. Liverpool haven't lost at Anfield in the Premier League since April 2017. So they're unbeaten at Anfield now in the league for almost 4 years. Obviously, the fixture at Anfield last season between us and Liverpool, was 2-0 Liverpool. Obviously, they beat us the season before at Anfield 3-1. That was actually back in December 2018. That was Jose Mourinho's final game as Man United manager. Our last win at Anfield was back in 2016 when Wayne Rooney had scored late on. We had a good win at Anfield back in 2015, when we won 2-1 and Juan Mata scored twice in that game. We beaten them at Anfield back in 2012 2-1. That's when Robin van Persie was playing for us. Liverpool did win their last game against Aston Villa 4-1. That was the FA Cup 3rd round, but they are winless in their last 3 Premier League games. So from their perspective, from a Liverpool perspective, it is a must win. But Solskjaer has made an admission, hasn't he, regarding Liverpool. He said, Liverpool have been the best team in England for the past 18 months. And he says they have been great for the last 3 years. Don't forget the other week Solskjaer hit back at Jurgen Klopp because obviously Jurgen Klopp was moaning about, the penalties that we get. He said we get a penalty like every 3 games. He basically said, we've had more penalties than he's had in, 5.5 years at Liverpool. Because we must have had around 40-odd penalties under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But like I say, Jurgen Klopp is probably one of the best managers in the world at this present time. Jurgen Klopp has been Liverpool manager since 2015. He's been Liverpool manager now for almost 6 years. I think Liverpool must have spent over £400 million since he got appointed in. Was it last season? He extended his contract with Liverpool until 2024. He's won 4 trophies as Liverpool manager so far. Obviously, last season he won the Premier League. That was Liverpool's first title in 30 years. They're 19th overall. They just won behind us because we're on 20. He won the Super Cup and he won the FIFA Club World Cup, and the season before he won the Champions League. Liverpool have won the Champions League 6 times. And Liverpool is the third club in his managerial career. You know, before he was at Liverpool, he was at Borussia Dortmund. He won a few trophies at Dortmund. And before Dortmund, he was at Mainz 05. Like I've said to you already, Liverpool are a team that like to keep the ball, they like to pass the ball well, they like to press, and they like to create chances. And that's exactly what they are going to do tomorrow. And somehow they're going to try and make it difficult for us to get out of our own half. It's going to be interesting to see what our game plan is going to be tomorrow. But Liverpool, like I said, have got some very, very good players in their team. You know, they've got, Mohamed Salah. He's a world-class player, but there has been games this season where he hasn't been clinical enough. You know, they've got the likes of Sadio Mane, world-class player. They've obviously got Diego Jota, who's made an impact. He joined Liverpool last summer from Wolves, but he's out with injury at the moment. Liverpool have obviously got Firmino, who's good. They've got Divock Origi, their backup striker. They've got Shaqiri. I think Origi and Shaqiri could both leave Liverpool in the summer. Shaqiri makes an impact from the bench. Like I said to you, Liverpool have got a lot of midfielders in their team. You know, they've got Jordan Henderson, they've got Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum could be leaving in the summer because I heard the other week that he rejected a contract extension. They got Thiago. They got him from Bayern Munich last summer. He's had a couple of injuries since he became a Liverpool player, Thiago. Liverpool have also got Fabinho. I like Fabinho, he's a good player. Predominantly a holding midfielder, but probably will go as centre-half tomorrow because Liverpool have obviously got a few centre-halves out with injury. Liverpool have obviously got Naby Keita. He's currently out with injury, but he's not one of their first-choice midfielders anyway. They've also got Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's done well, but he's sustained a few bad injuries since he became a Liverpool player. And Liverpool have got James Milner as well. Surely he'll leave at the end of the season. Will he go to another club before he retires, or will he retire when he leaves Liverpool? And Liverpool have got Curtis Jones, who's a young player. They've got 2 fantastic fullbacks in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson. I like the way they get forward. They put good crosses into the box. You know, defensively they're good. I think Robertson was out injured earlier on in the season. They've also got Latisicmas. They got him last summer, didn't they? He's out with injury at the moment, but wouldn't have started anyway. Obviously, they've got the best centre-half in the world in Virgil van Dijk. He's the second most expensive centre-half in the world, just behind Harry Maguire. Van Dijk's out for the season, by the looks of things. Or he could be back just before the season ends. They've obviously got Gomez out with injuries out for the season. I think Matic could be available though for them tomorrow. And Liverpool have got a very, very good goalkeeper in Allenson. But like I've said to you already on the videos I've done building up to the game against Liverpool, I've got an idea of how we could line up, and I've got an idea of how Liverpool could line up. We play Liverpool twice in a week because we've also got them in the FA Cup 4th round at Old Trafford. And it's going to be interesting to see how both teams approach that game. But we've obviously got Fulham next in the league after tomorrow. Should be beating Fulham. Fulham are relegation fodder. Their current manager is Scott Parker. I think he's been Fulham manager now for almost 2 years. The last time we played Fulham was almost 2 years ago, and we beat them 3-0 at Craven Cottage. There again, Fulham got a draw out of Liverpool earlier on this season. I think probably one of Fulham's best players is that Lookman. They've obviously got Kamara. They've got that Mitrovic as well. He's just recently sustained an injury. So, yeah. Like I said, we've got good players in our team. That can cause Liverpool problems tomorrow. So, we'll see anyway. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.